Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. We've been making lots of money this year. I appreciate your guys' donations. I know we're going to keep making great bets. So let's get to the teasers this week. And I know you guys love the teasers. You guys were asking a lot of questions, so we need to get to it. The first game I have is change that Miami to +10. And listen, I know Jacksonville has performed well this year, and I like what Dougie Marrone's doing. You got to like Minshew's fight. Say what you will about Minshew, but we have a lot of players in this league who just aren't fighting this year for whatever reason. But Minshew comes in, and he gives 100% every game. But then you got Miami. You saw Fitzpatrick start getting into that zone in the second half against the Bills. And I think that continues against the Jacks. I think this is going to be a close game. I think this is a one-score game. That's why I think Miami +10 makes perfect sense. But Miami does have some problems that are bothering me. They haven't really gotten their run game going. And that's one thing you have to try to work against these Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Miami runs it somewhat decent in this game, but it's not going to be anything crazy that is going to control this game. So I think this Miami defense, I think it comes down to them, and I think they make just enough plays. And I like this +10. +10, I think this is easy money. Next game, we have the Carolina Panthers and the LA Chargers. I'm going to turn this around and make it +13.5, +14 for the Carolina Panthers. And these Carolina Panthers, they're not a very high stock talented team. We know that. Carolina's not going to scare anyone with talent, but I really like the way they developed these first two games. I feel like they have a plan. I feel like Matt Rule has an identity. And yes, Teddy Bridgewater is very, very frustrating, but I feel like he can do just enough for this offense to keep the game close. It looks like Herbert's going to start for the Chargers now. And yes, I'm excited about Herbert. I'm excited about the Chargers. I just don't think they're going to just blow the shit out of Carolina. I think Carolina's fighting in this game. I could see Carolina covering this regular spread. But when you push it out to +13.5, +14, give me Carolina. The next game we're going to be talking about is Atlanta against the Chicago Bears. Change that Atlanta -3. Make that Atlanta +4.5. And if Atlanta ends up finding a way to choke away this game, I think they'll choke away this game by 3 points or a point or 2 points. I don't think you have to sweat this one out. I think Atlanta ends up taking care of business because to beat Atlanta, you have to beat their defense. And you have to throw against their defense, and you have to throw often. And that's something I'm not confident in Mitch Trubisky doing. If you guys are believing in Mitch Trubisky, that's fine. You can take this off your parlay. But I don't believe in Mitch Trubisky. And I've won probably $10,000 over the past 3 years betting against this man. Now, of course, he pulls rabbits out of the hat, but we need to be realistic. We need to stay grounded and understand Mitch Trubisky sucks. And the Chicago defense, it's not top 5 anymore. It's still a pretty good defense, but key word, pretty good. They're not elite by any means. They're not going to be dominant. And when you look at the firepower between the two teams, Atlanta, Chicago, I mean, come on. Chicago doesn't have the firepower to really fuck with the Falcons, even though we know the Falcons are an inconsistent mess and with questionable coaching. Let's go with Atlanta here. I think that I would not detest anyone for that Atlanta pick. I hear some people talking about the Jets +18.5. It's just too risky for me because this Jets team, they don't prepare. I just wanted to say that about the Jets game. I know we love the points and we've won a lot of money using big point spreads in our advantage, but the Jets aren't the team to do it because they don't show up anymore. Next game. I'm going to target this. I'm a little bit nervous about this, but I have to go with my instincts and what I'm seeing on film. Tennessee -2 at Minnesota. Let's make that Tennessee 5.5. And You think there's going to be a response with Minnesota, right? You think. But I actually put Minnesota into the same category of the Jets this year. Is Minnesota as bad as the Jets? Absolutely not. Minnesota has playmakers. They have big name players, elite players like Dalvin Cook, Harrison Smith. Thielen can still ball. Eric Kendricks is a baller. They got elite players. They got talent. But something's missing from the Vikings. They look unprepared. They look unorganized. They look unmotivated. And the biggest problem with Minnesota, besides Kirk Cousins, is their run defense. And when you're struggling with run defense, the last person you want to see is that man with dreads coming into your stadium. D. Henry is just going to absolutely rip the Minnesota Vikings alive. And I'm not seeing a response. I'm just not seeing a response. And you know, I bet like this. I always am wary of a response from a team. I don't think we see it. And even if Minnesota gives a response, even if they come into play, come on. Derrick Henry's going to get this ball 25 times up the middle, and then Tannehill's going to get some good opportunities on play action. And then let's say Minnesota does stop the run. Kirk Cousins? The way Kirk Cousins has been playing, and Kirk Cousins, every single play now, all he does is stare down Thielen. This is a disaster waiting to happen for the Vikings, even if they come out to play good. Tennessee plus 5.5. Next game, and I guess this is a game I've been targeting all week for a wide variety of reasons and different methods. Washington at Cleveland. Cleveland's -7. Let's change that. Let's make Washington plus 14. And I think Washington's a team that is fundamentally sound. They're well coached. They have passion. They're going to come out and play hard. But the biggest reason for this pick is this Washington front seven. They're nasty. They don't take prisoners. They come at you in waves. They have depth. I absolutely love this defensive line. Like, Ioannidis is one of the best players in this league. No one wants to tell you about or talk about. And that just might be a bit much for Baker because, first of all, the Browns, they need to run the ball, and I think they're going to try to run the ball. I just don't know how successful they will be against this Washington front. And then when you look at it, if Baker needs to pass, yes, the secondary of Washington is fairly weak. There's holes in it, but is he going to have the time? Is this Cleveland Browns offensive line ready? Is Baker Mayfield ready to throw under pressure, to roll to the right while getting hit? I don't think so. Washington is going to cover this plus 14. I've been saying it all week, and then even the +7, I absolutely love Washington. I'm surprised that line hasn't shifted. I really am. But the public's big on Cleveland. I'll give you an example. The line started at -5.5. It pumped up to -7 because people love that in Cleveland. It's just like some people love fucking punishment. Like that's one thing I don't get. Some people, they'll just ride a team because they see them in ESPN a lot. I don't get it. If you guys didn't learn your lesson about Cleveland yet after last year, when are you going to learn the fucking lesson? Kevin Stefanski might be worse than Freddie Kitchens. Only time will tell. Next game, we have the Arizona Cardinals. Let's get down to the Cardinals spread. I'm just browsing on my computer real quick. We got the Arizona Cardinals. Come on, where is this game at? Where is this game at? 1 second. We got the Arizona Cardinals -5.5 at home against the Detroit Lions. Let's switch this around. Let's go Arizona +2. And Detroit's a team, they've looked good this year at times, but only on offense. This defense never really came to fruition. Matt Patricia spent tons of money on defense. They've brought in tons of ex-Patriot players, and this defense just keeps getting worse. And if you're having a tough time on defense, if you're having a tough time with defensive depth and stamina in the second half, the Cardinals are the last team you want to play in this league. Listen, you might get a little bit of scare betting this one because I could see Detroit coming in at the end of the first half, going into the second half, I could see Detroit in the lead. But I think the second half is where the Cardinals absolutely dismantle this Detroit Lions team. So I think overall, this is a pretty damn safe bet. So those are my teasers. I got Miami plus 10, Arizona plus 2, Carolina plus 13.5 or 14, depending on the line, Atlanta plus 4.5, Washington plus 14, and then the Tennessee Titans plus 5.5. There's other games you could look at, like Tampa Bay plus 1. That is one I was seriously considering, even though I have lots of respect for this Denver team. I've been picking against Denver and winning money, but I still have respect for this team. I know some people are a little bit excited about the Cincinnati plus 11. I would not behest you guys if you bet that one. But it comes down to my argument about a response. Like you fellas, ladies and gentlemen, you think eventually we're going to see some sort of response out of this Eagles team. So that's one reason why I'm a little bit tepid, but I would not say you made a bad teaser selection going Cincinnati plus 11. And the last one I want to look at, some people are saying pick Dallas plus 12. I don't have a problem with it, but I don't know if that's the best way to spend your money. And then another one I would tell you guys maybe to consider is make that New Orleans -3, make that New Orleans +4, because I think New Orleans will have a huge response. And I think this Packers team, yes, they're good. Yes, I've won money on them these first 2 weeks, but I think it's time to get back down to reality. And this New Orleans defense can ball, and I think that's where New Orleans wins this game against Green Bay. Don't think about Drew Brees and Kamara. Think about that Green Bay offense against the New Orleans defense, and I think that New Orleans defense comes up big. I will have a live call-in show. Leave your questions down below. I'm going to have it Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. And if you have questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below, and I'll talk about them on Friday. Thank you. Subscribe.